Most people use NotebookLM like a nicer PDF summarizer. That is useful, but it is not the workflow. The workflow is this. Give NotebookLM your trusted sources, make it produce a clear engineering brief, then move that brief into Google Antigravity so the coding agent works from grounded context instead of vague instructions. I will show you the setup and 5 practical ways to use it. NotebookLM is a source-grounded research workspace. You create a notebook for one project. Then you add sources, PDFs, websites, Google Docs, slides, Markdown text files, audio images, and public YouTube videos with captions. The useful part is not just the summary. The useful part is that every answer is supposed to stay tied to the sources in that notebook with citations you can inspect. So for engineering work, treat NotebookLM like a temporary research database. Google Antigravity is the coding side of this workflow. Do not think of it as a research tool. Think of it as the place where an agent can inspect a workspace, plan changes, edit code, run commands, and produce verifiable artifacts. For this video, I only need one anti-gravity idea. The agent should start from a good brief. NotebookLM creates that brief from your sources. Anti-gravity uses it to do the engineering work. Here is the setup. Create one NotebookLM notebook per project. Name it after the task, not the tool. For example, Payments API Migration Research. Add only the sources you want the agent to trust: official docs, internal architecture notes, PDFs, README files, ADR, and issue links. Then ask NotebookLM for an implementation brief with constraints, unknowns, and source citations. Copy that brief into anti-gravity as the task context. The important rule is simple. NotebookLM is for source grounding. Anti-gravity is for execution. Workflow 1. Large documentation. This is where NotebookLM is immediately useful. Instead of asking a coding agent to browse a huge documentation site while it is also editing code, split the job. Put the official docs into NotebookLM first. Add the migration guide, quick start, API reference, and limits page. Then ask for a developer brief, required setup steps, breaking changes, config values, and tests. Now anti-gravity gets a focused task instead of a vague instruction like integrate this SDK. Workflow 2. Understand a GitHub repo. Do not upload an entire codebase blindly. Start with the files that explain intent, README, docs folder, architecture notes, package files, API examples, and selected markdown files. NotebookLM is good at turning those into a map. Ask what the repo does, where the entry points are, what a new engineer should read first, and what questions to ask before changing code. Then give that map to anti-gravity and ask it to verify the map against the actual repo. Workflow 3. PDFs. This is useful for white papers, vendor docs, security reports, API specs, and architecture PDFs. Upload the PDF to NotebookLM. Do not ask for a generic summary. Ask for the parts that affect engineering decisions, requirements, assumptions, version constraints, security notes, operational risks, and implementation steps. Then use anti-gravity for the follow-through, create a checklist, update docs, generate tests, or compare the PDF against the current codebase. Workflow 4. Interview prep. This is not just for job seekers. It is useful when your team needs to learn a new system quickly. Add the docs or repo notes to NotebookLM. Generate flashcards or quizzes from the studio panel. Then ask NotebookLM for interview-style questions a senior engineer would ask about this system. Use those questions to test your own understanding before you let anti-gravity make changes. If you cannot answer the architecture questions, you probably should not automate the edit yet. Workflow 5. Architecture understanding. This is the best version of the workflow. Add AD repos, system diagrams, README files, incident docs, and API contracts to NotebookLM. Ask it to produce three things: the architecture map, the dependency list, and the change risk checklist. Then move that into Antigravity and ask the agent to inspect the repo against the map. The agent should not just code, it should tell you where the map is wrong. Now the limitations. NotebookLM is only as good as the sources you add. Website imports usually bring in text, not embedded videos or nested pages. YouTube imports depend on public videos with captions. Large sources still have limits, and NotebookLM can make mistakes even with citations. Anti-gravity also needs guardrails. Do not paste a research brief and let it change production code without review. Use a branch. Ask for a plan. Review diffs. Run tests. Use this workflow if you deal with too much source material before writing code. API migrations, new repos, vendor evaluations, security reviews, architecture onboarding, interview prep. Do not use it for tiny tasks. If the answer is already in one file, open the file. The workflow is simple. NotebookLM turns trusted sources into a grounded brief. Anti-gravity turns the brief into action inside the repo. Keep those roles separate and the workflow becomes practical immediately. Start with one project this week, one notebook, five trusted sources, one anti-gravity task, and a reviewable diff. That is enough to feel the difference.